All right. Good morning, and welcome to a brand new edition of ATL Three Style Live. ATL Three Style Live. I am Leo G, and I'm coming to you live, baby. It's another morning, and we're doing this big, and it's good to be back, man. I'm my boy Banks. I'm gonna pass it over to him, man. With no further ado, man. My other co-host over there on the south side. What's going on with you, Banks?
How you feeling, Leo? How you feeling? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing well, man. Doing wonderful, man. Good to be back to do another show here. ATL Three Style. That's what we do. But as you all can see, it's usually three, but it's just two today. But so we want to shout out our boy Derrico, man. But guess what, Banks?
What's up?
Guess what?
What's up?
It's that boy Derrico's birthday, man. So he's somewhere in an undisclosed location celebrating his birthday, man. And he told us to go ahead and jump on here, man. But you never know; he could just jump on here for the sake of it. I don't know. I doubt it because, like I said, he is in an undisclosed location, and I doubt very seriously if he gonna jump on with us. But if he does, that's what's up, man. But happy birthday to our boy Derrico, man. I would tell y'all how old he is. Just know that he is
About to collect and see I was about to
it's
read on that,
inside.
but let me shut up. I don't want to do that, man.
Nah, man. Happy birthday to our boy Derrico, man, who chilling and hopefully be back for the next episode, man. So listen, hey, we gotta take care of a little business, man. As you already know, ATL Three Style is all about our partnerships. So we got definitely the first partnership I want to shout out, man. Y'all already know what time it is, man. We're gonna shout out our boy over there at Bez, BEZ moisturizer and beard conditioning spray. Want to hit him up, man. Listen, if you want some spray, man, like I said, for your beard, man, for some extra moisture and some sheen, man, this is what's up, man. It smells fantastic. And I'm gonna give you guys the contact number because I don't think on the last episode I actually gave you guys the number to contact if you want to get down and get some of this product, man. So you can hit my man up. Hit him up here. Give me 1 second. I put the number up here. It's gonna be 470-222-9927. That's 470-222-9927. And let them know to put in your order. And also mention ATL 3 Style Live. And he'll be able to, you know what I'm saying, hook you up, let them know that you are a big fan of the show. And that's where you heard about the product, man. So definitely give him a shout out over there with the beer products. And Banks, you want to give a shout out to our other partner?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give guys check out my man Phil. If you need any woodworking done, like coasters or branding or any kind of woodwork, check out Eastland's Woodworking Company. That's my boy Phil. Hit that QR code and check him out.
Absolutely, man. He does some good work, man. Like I said, you put your order in on the QRC code, man, and hopefully he'll get it out to you as soon as possible. Ashtrays, coasters, you name it, plaques, gifts, graduations, weddings, bar mitzvahs. He does it all, people. So hit him up definitely, and I'll put the QRC code back up toward the end of the show, man, so you can get that and you can hit him up, man. So Banks, what's going on, man? A lot of stuff has happened, but before we get into it here, let's do a fit check and a drink check.
All right, nothing real special for me this morning, man. I'm rocking the gray and two-tone gray and black Falcons cap with the matching shirt, ATL in gray. It's early in the morning, Leo. You know I'm drinking my cup of Joe, so that's my fit and drink check for the morning.
That's what's up. That's what's up. As you can see, I'm feeling mighty, you know what I'm saying, UGA today. You know, I'm feeling mighty UGA today, man. What's that coming down the track? It's a UGA fan in red and black. Ain't nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan. Go Dogs as they take on the University of Kentucky Wildcats tonight. college football is back, but we'll talk a little bit about college football on the next episode because we got a lot to get into on this episode. Talking about the topics that we have for today, we can talk a little bit about the dogs if we have some time here toward the end of the show. This morning I don't even have any Joe, man. I just got some Fiji water, dog. It's early. We got a long day today, man. Got to crank this thing up. So I said, you know what? Let me just get some water, hydrate myself, and do what I do, man. So Banks, listen, let's get on into this show, man. Let's talk about what we're here to talk about, and that's week 1 of the NFL opening day. The season opener, the home opener for our Atlanta Falcons, because we got a lot to talk about and a lot to discuss. Obviously, we're close to a week removed from that game. But before we actually talk about the game, I want to talk about the Falconers opening tailgate, man, that we happen to be a part of over there on the corner Northside Drive in Nelson on last Sunday, brother. First tailgate out the rip, off the rip, man. Shout out to everybody that do it big over there, man. It was a Virgo party, man. Shout out to our boy Derico, Princess, everybody, Martin, everybody that does it big over there, man, and make that thing official. Banks, your first Falconers tailgate, man. How did you feel about it, man?
Well, I felt like I was pretty much around family. I felt like I belonged. I was with the fellas, and of course, I had to don. I don't have pictures of it, but the crispy white, my annual fit of the first week. If you know me, you know it since I've been rocking this since 2016. I rock the white everything, white hat, white jersey, white shorts, white shoes, white socks, watch, underwear, everything white. So I was crispy white last week, and I was fresh, so clean. So yeah.
It was all white everything, right? You know what I'm saying? I came out with the white. I didn't have all crispy white. I went down to the draws, but I did come out there, man, had on crispy white. Shout out if you're on, follow us on Facebook, man. I think we put some pictures up. If not, we'll drop some more pictures on the official site, man. So we did a big up there, man. Like I said, shout out. It's always a time up there. The tailgate bank, so the tailgate has grown leaps and bounds, man. When I first started rocking with the Falconers several years ago, it was big, but now it has grown. I was just telling Derico, man, I said, but bro, y'all, I don't know, dog. Y'all busting at the seams, man. Y'all might have to get another premium location, man. But listen, it was nothing but love. And like you said, it was our fam up there. We was able to celebrate early with Derico because he do this Virgo thing like the whole month of September. I don't know what that's all about, but dude, you got one day and that's the day. You know what I'm saying? You can't be dragging this thing out for a whole 30 days, man. But but it was fun, man. We got it in, man. And the prep for the game, for the first game of the season is always Banks, the first game of the season is always fun. I don't care the expectations, whatever the case may be, man. It's always fun that first game. You know what I'm saying? It's just like the first day of school, right? You know what I'm saying? You don't know how it's gonna be. Like you said, you had your crispy whites on, and it's like let's step up in the building, man, and let's see where this goes, right?
Absolutely, man. It was kind of a who was who up in the building. I felt like, week one, man, it's like you don't have no kind of animosity, you don't have no anxiety, you don't have nothing going on with no other team but your own, and you go in there feeling carefree, and it's a good. I think it should be a holiday. To be honest with you, bro, it's that's how big it is for me. Week one is always that big, you know, week that I look forward to. It's better than the other week besides the Super Bowl.
Absolutely, yeah, man. Yeah, I can't. The anticipation is always when football season comes back around, and then especially to have a home opener on day one. That's always cool, man. And to go up in the building, like I said, it's a who's who to see everybody, man, and just the energy is always there. It's always there week one, no matter who we play. We come with it. Now, it depends on how they do the rest of the season to see if that same energy is going to continue to go over game after game, but that's a whole nother story. But we'll talk about week one and what happened. So Banks, we end up playing the Pittsburgh Steelers in week one. But before we get into the gritty details of it, man, usually Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to shout them out, man. They were very, very cordial. We met some Pittsburgh Steelers fans, some of them who had traveled actually from Pittsburgh, and a lot of them that had came from around 285 and in the metro area that were there for the game. Usually there are uh just crazy number of Steelers fans like we've seen in the past, but actually, Banks, I think we did outnumber the Steelers fans this go round. I say, I throw out like maybe 60-40, 70-30. Like I said, as the game progressed, and I think maybe some of the Falcons fans kind of walked out. Maybe the numbers got a little skewed, but I say it was around 60-40. I think we did outnumber the Steelers contingent. This is one of those legacy teams that are going to travel no matter what. They have, the most Super Bowl wins out of all the teams in the NFL. So their fans were going to come from abroad and, of course, in the metro area. Banks, how does you feel about the Steelers fans and how they were represented in Mercedes-Benz?
I I'm a little bit more different. I felt like it was more 50-50 from my vantage point. But I think for the ones I was talking to, it was they were cordial. Not no, smack talking or anything like that. A couple of ones that got kind of obnoxious, but I mean, it was the good, outweighed the bad with them. Even walking up to the game from the from tailgating, they were okay, I guess. I mean, a lot of them was telling me that, we're gonna win the game, we're gonna win, right? I'm like, well, that's how you feel, brother. You know, I personally wanted them to wanted to win and send them home unhappy, but it is what it is. Got some news for you, Leo, man. About the legacy teams. We got a couple more teams that's gonna come up through here with the same thing. I can name three teams coming up as we speak. That's gonna be it's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, Banks. I say that all the time, but you got to play who's on your schedule. So, I mean, there's no time to be scared, tuck your tail and run. But I am proud of the Atlanta fans for showing up like we did. They were there, they were loud. I mean, obviously we'll get into it here. As you just alluded to, we dropped the home opener to the Steelers 18-10. This was a weird game, and we'll get into it here. The Steelers win without scoring an offensive touchdown. I have not seen a lot of games happen like that in the past, but this was one where the Steelers they didn't have to. Their defense showed up, and their kicker obviously got off the bus and made sure that he was booming. I mean, this man kicked, I want to say three field goals over 50 yards to get him the lead. We actually had a Young Wei Koo field goal, and also we had a touchdown by Kyle Pitts. But we'll get into some of the headlines here. Banks, how did you feel about the Steelers pulling this without actually scoring an offensive field goal? We knew going into this game that there was a question at the quarterback position for the Steelers, whether Justin Fields or Russell Wilson was going to start. Justin Fields actually took the start. We know who their offensive coordinator is, Arthur Smith. But they ended up taking this one 18-10, no offensive touchdowns. How did you feel about the Steelers offense and what Justin Fields looked like?
Well, I felt like leaving the game. Say, well, we lost to Arthur Smith's style of play. That's how he usually coached the game when he was here last season. We were hitting field goals and not getting in the end zone, and when we've been in the red zone. But difference with Pittsburgh, they never got into the red zone. They were booming, like you said, the kicks from freaking 50-yard line. So I mean, can't do nothing about that. I mean, that's you just got a great kicker and a real offense where they was trying their best not to put themselves in bad situations. Unfortunately, like I said, it was Arthur Smith who led that offense. So six field goals to our little one field goal and a touchdown. So I mean, again, it's like, what can you say? I mean, that's how it is.
I mean, Arthur Smith is who he is. I think even after week one, I mean, like you just said, Banks, he was nothing special as a head coach, as an offensive coordinator. I felt like Pittsburgh played not to lose this game. I honestly felt like that was the game plan coming in, play not to lose, and that's what they actually did. There were some things that happened later on in the game that actually helped them in that matter, and we'll talk about them here in just a second. But I didn't see, all of this, that came from Tomlin and all these, different jabs and the things that they talked about, in their media days. I didn't see any of that. There was nothing special about, but we, like you just said, Banks, we've seen the Arthur Smith production before. There was nothing special. And like I said, I think that the game plan was to play, not to lose. They weren't playing to win. They were just playing not to lose. A bunch of field position and let's not turn the ball over situation. And when you don't turn the ball over and you limit a lot of the mistakes, that you give yourself a chance, and that's basically what they did. They gave themselves a chance to win the game, and like you said, their kicker being able to boom those field goals actually helped their cause. But we didn't help our cause at all by having a lackluster offense. So let's get into that here, Banks. The offense for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm gonna just give you a couple of numbers here before we actually get into it and talk about it. But the biggest number that we wanted to talk about was coming from our brand new acquired $180 million quarterback against Kirk Cousins. So the stat for him on this past Sunday was 16-26. That's 50% completion. If you didn't know the math, 155 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions in a offense that just looked vanilla and very out of sync. With the weapons that we have, I felt like coming out that we should have been a little more explosive or at least showed a little more life. But at a couple of points in the game, I was just like, kind of like, what is going on? I saw a lot of motion. I saw a lot of just, things that I felt good about. But then when we started executing plays, it just didn't come together. We'll talk about what the Steelers did in just a second. But Banks, I want to talk to you about, offensively, how we look, how vanilla it was, and Kirk Cousins. Like, what was the deal with that?
Well, it looks like a team that was they had never played with each other before. That's what it looks like to me. Offensively, I don't know what the OC was trying to do out there. Keeping Kirk Cousins in that pistol. I was lost. I was confused. That's not Kirk Cousins' game. He's more of a play action quarterback. He said that before the season started, and all of a sudden you're doing the polar opposite. So I don't get it. So I don't know what was going on, with the whole entire offense. I mean, what my opinion is, I feel like you didn't play in the preseason. You didn't play not one snap. You didn't do any kind of continuity, any kind of timing. No, nothing. You didn't do anything. You went from last season to week 1 and we should be okay. No, that's not how that works. And I think I saw something on the NFL network or something where every team that started their players in preseason won. I don't know how. I haven't really checked it out and do no digging from it, but if that's the case, then yes, preseason matters. And for us to sit there, I mean, who do we come across as that we don't need it when we have a brand new offensive coordinator, a brand new head coach, brand new quarterback, and we good? Like, who we think we are? Like, we ain't no offense. Just that's just turn the switch on and when they feel like it. No, you need some kind of gelling offensive line together. I mean, offensive line's a whole nother story. I could talk about that in a segment by itself. That was atrocious to watch an offensive line. We all knew they were great run blocking, but pass blocking, no, PU. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You think you're gonna go far in this league playing like that? You will not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I will say this much. Um, I agree with you on the fact that the preseason does matter. Obviously, for whatever the case may be, Raheem Morris and his staff felt like they didn't really need the preseason to get the things worked out. They felt like they saw enough in camp and they felt like they saw enough in the scrimmages to say, okay, hey, these guys are ready. So I do agree with you on your point that the preseason does matter because yes, you did see teams, even the defending Super Bowl champs, with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they did run their ones out there for preseason to kind of, I guess, get some continuity and to, just get a feel of action with each other because they had some new faces out there in Kansas City as well. So Andy Reid decided that they needed to get out there at least for a couple of series, but that didn't happen with the Falcons. So that's neither here nor there now. I mean, we're in the season. Obviously, week 1 was our preseason game. With that being said, I don't know if that was the reason why the offensive play calling was just so vanilla. And we saw Kirk Cousins in the pistol, like you said, for so many snaps. I want to say the majority of the game. I don't recall actually even seeing him under center. If it was maybe a couple of times, but it wasn't very many. It was mostly pistol, and there was hardly any play action pass at all. If there, I didn't see any play action pass like you just said, Banks. That Kirk Cousins is a quarterback that relies a lot on the play action pass, even though we saw early on in the game that Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algiers was having some success running the football. So I don't know. So there's a question here, and that's been posed. I mean, right after the game, um, with the play calling, you know what I'm saying? Is there something more to it? And let's talk about it here for a second. We talked about the preseason, obviously, and that the start is not playing in preseason, but Kirk Cousins is still coming off of an Achilles injury. We know that. He says he's healthy. Everybody says that he's healthy, and he looked okay. But the question is that's been going around is that maybe he's not as healthy as people think he is. And maybe that this offense that was called was to protect him in some ways, form, or fashion. I have an opinion on that, and I'll give it before I pass it over to you here, Banks. Um, I think Kirk Cousins is as healthy as he's going to be, considering him coming off of that injury. But he's never been the most mobile quarterback. And obviously, like you said, play action passing was part of his bread and butter throughout his career. But I think Kirk is healthy. I attribute this, in my opinion, to just lack of creativity with play calling with a first year offensive coordinator in Zach Robinson. Um, this defense of the Steelers is no joke. I mean, they have a lot of issues on the offensive side of the ball, but they have a lot of playmakers on this defensive side of the ball. And we knew that we were going to have to neutralize some of them, and we just didn't. Um, TJ Watt just raised all kind of hell. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't help our cause when we really needed to start, throwing the football. We didn't neutralize him. Play action would have helped, or at least giving him some action his way. He was able to pin his ears back and just come after Kurt. So my opinion is that I think Kurt is who he is. I think that he is as healthy as he's going to be. I attribute this, in my opinion, to a first time play caller in Zach Robinson as to why we look so vanilla and why this whole thing was off. I mean, minus they didn't play in the preseason, but I'm putting the blame squarely on the shoulders of Zach Robinson. I don't know how you feel about it, Banks, but let me know where does this offense and how lackluster it look? Where does it fall on? Who does it fall on?
I mean, I think part of that is Zach Robinson. All more reasons to play preseason for a first time offensive coordinator who's never called a play in NFL. Okay, we, fans, throughout the whole offseason was keep contributing what he, learned under McVay. McVay this, McVay that. McVay ain't coaching us, y'all. It's Zach Robinson, okay? He's his own man. So he never called a play in the league and it showed. I also contribute to the fact that yes, Kurt might be healthy, but I think he still favors that Achilles. I think somewhere mentally he's like, I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want nobody to fall on it wrong. I don't roll my ankle no kind of different way. I think that's still back of his mind. That's why he's playing like the way he's playing. That's human nature. That's something you just can't shake. I don't care who you are, with your athlete or non-athlete. I've torn an ACL before. I mean, I know at some point when you're quote unquote healthy, you're gonna favor that injury some way down the lines, back of your mind. I gotta be careful. Even though you might be good. It's just human nature. I gotta be careful with this. I gotta be careful with this. And that also plays a part, again, and I keep harping on this and I'm gonna keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. Preseason would have helped that. He would have got hit in preseason. Maybe that would have kind of, okay, I got some, cool, let's go. But no, you did this week one and you wanted him to figure it out week one. And that's not how that works. You said something about TJ Watts, he is a beast. He is probably one of the greatest that ever done it in our era so far. Um, got news to everybody. Philadelphia ain't gonna come half stepping. They going to rush the passer too. Kansas City as well. New Orleans as well. Tampa Bay will too. Everybody's going to rush the passer. I mean, that's no secret. You don't have to be a TJ Watt to do that. Okay, you don't have to be a TJ Watt to wreck the game. Okay, if your offensive line doesn't protect, you're gonna have problems. I don't care who it is. So I mean, my thing is we going into Philadelphia and everybody's like, well, he's no TJ Watts. No, he's not, but he is a pass rusher or he can rush the passer. We are in trouble if we do not protect Hurt. So
Yeah.
that's
I
that.
mean, and part of protecting, I mean, yes, you want to have good protection with your offensive line and be able to slide protections and do different things. But part of you have to neutralize different players and different things. We would be remiss if we want to sit up here and say that, yeah, TJ Watt is a phenomenal athlete. I don't think we're going to see a TJ Watt every week. And you're right, Banks. They're going to come after. They're going to rush the passer. I mean, that's what teams do. But what you have to do is, as an offensive coordinator, find ways to neutralize certain things. You got to find what works for you and what are you strong at doing. And I think we just week one did not have an identity and was not able to establish that. So going into week two, we need to figure out, hey, I mean, I did see some bright spots in the run game with Bijan and Tyler Algiers. We did see them on the field a couple of times. I would love to see some more creativity with that. I think that was working. For some reason, we got away from it. And then here's the thing. You're going to have to get away from this pistol formation. And you're going to have to find ways to get Kurt under the center, uncomfortable or not, and make the defense honest. Because like I said, when you run the same formation 90% of the times, defenses will start to figure out what you're doing with certain things. They pick up on certain things. Pittsburgh picked up on the snap count. Pittsburgh picked up on, the direction of the plays and which way we were going and different tendencies. When you ran the same formation over and over and over again, that goes back to, like I said, the offensive coordinator, Zach Robinson, is going to have to be creative, going to have to come up with a solid game plan this week going up against a Philadelphia Eagles team defense that's going to be pretty tough. They're pretty stout in the middle. We're very familiar with Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. So, yes, we're going to have to neutralize the defense some way, form, or fashion. We know every week the NFL is going to have premier pass rushers and great defenses, but you're going to have to figure out what you're good at doing and what you can establish doing early and then move forward from there. Like I said, I feel like, yes, Kurt is who he is. He knows he tore his Achilles. We all know he tore his Achilles. But, that's on him. If he's going to be a liability at the quarterback position, and that's going to fall on Rye as to figure out moving forward here in the next several games what we need to do if it really starts to look very bad. But Zach Robinson, in my opinion, is just going to have to step up and do better. We know what we have. He knows what we have. We're going to have to step up and do better. With that being said, let's talk about going into the Philly game here for just a minute, Banks. Philly coming up on Monday night, the first primetime game that I think the Falcons have had in quite some time. We know that, Philly's coming, 1-0 off of win against the Packers down in Sao Paulo. We know, what the Philly defense brings. We don't have to go into that whole spiel about who's. I just, alluded to a couple of the players that they have on defense. We know that they have Jalen Hurts at quarterback there. Going into this game, Banks, how do you feel going into week two, facing Philly and what we'll be able to do? Or do you just not have an image of what we can do at all?
I think it's going to be a process. The offense got to catch up, and it's not going to happen in 7 days. Um, I feel like we're going into a hostile environment. This is Philadelphia's home opener on prime time. They're going to be amped up. I don't think we are ready to go in there trying to figure stuff out with the offense, where I think Philadelphia already know what they're doing. You're playing a team that just put up 30 points on Green Bay. I mean, they although Green Bay they okay defensively, but they had some miscues on offense. Philadelphia did, and they still hung 30 some points on them. Okay, we're still trying to figure out how we can get in under center with Kirk Cousins. Okay, that's not something that I'm ready for to go head and head with. I don't think Philadelphia is going to take any punches back because we still trying to figure it out
Now,
out
now,
of out of
now,
preseason.
now, not to cut you off, now let's be real about this because we didn't talk about this. We didn't talk about this enough, I guess. So I do want to say this much. let's give the Falcons defense some credit here. Okay. Yeah, they played Arthur Smith. Yeah, they played Justin Fields in an offense that I feel like is very, very uh lackluster when it comes to talking about Philly and what we're going to face, with him and Saquon Barkley up there, because I think he's just a game changer as well on offense with Philly, him being newly acquired by the Eagles. But let's not take anything away from the defense. I will say this much. Did the Falcons defense look lights out, game busters? No. But the Falcons defense, Grady Jarrett coming back off of the Achilles tear, looked absolutely amazing. Grady Jarrett came out, he did his thing. I like what I saw out of Matthew Judon. He was out there just acquired. He's still going to have some time to gel and get some continuity with the defense. There was some suspect moments, I guess, in the secondary when some people, and I'm gonna say this much: the cornerback position, I don't really hold. There's only been a couple of real deal shutdown corners in the history of the NFL. So if you're a cornerback in the NFL, man, yeah, some days it's not going to be your day. But for the most part, it was a being on break situation with the defense. The Steelers didn't even get into the red zone, like you said earlier, Banks. So I don't want to take anything away from this defense. Let's be real. The defense set out to do what they needed to do against the Steelers. They had a solid shout out to Jimmy Lake. They had a solid game plan. They were prepared for whatever Arthur Smith was going to throw at them. But let's give the defense a little credit, because they didn't come out there and wet the bed. It was the offense not being able to put up enough points. So I think when we going into Philly, I think that, to coin your phrase, we can hang our hat on the fact that I think the defense is something. The defense looked ready. I would say that much. The defense actually looked ready, and I think that they should be ready for the task on Monday night.
Yeah, I mean that was the bright spot of week one is the defense. I'm not, I that's my fault for not, giving them any more credit than they have. But I think if we were to do anything Monday night, it's going to be because of the defense. I really don't have any faith in this offense right now. I think eventually they will come around, but I think, again, my hang up with them is coaching from the top down. You decided not to play in preseason. This is what you're going to get. This is not an offense that was ready just to click on the start go. Okay, that wasn't the kind of offense. You needed some time to get together and figure out who is who, the timing. It's just we dropped the ball. Now I think we're gonna pay for it. In the beginning half of this, I I talked to a Falcon fan on the way home from the game, and he's like, "Are we going to be like last season?" I'm like, "No, I don't think so. I don't think this is gonna be a last season team. I think we're gonna actually have we're gonna have some good days, in the future. As of now, I don't think so. I think we still gonna be kind of stumbling and bumbling out the blocks.
I mean, this is going to build some resiliency, I think, with this team to come out is with the schedule as tough as it is. The first 3 games, arguably the first 5 games. Um, and that brings me. I wanted to talk about it here, and we'll talk about it now. Time to panic or have no fear. That's what I want to bring up in this segment here. Time to panic or have no fear. There is a sentiment going around where you have people on both sides of the fence, and I've talked to several Falcons fans as well. After 1 game, it's a have no fear side and a time to panic side. You know, I am of the have no fear side. This was 1 game. There's a lot of football left. There's a lot of time to establish certain things and see where we are. Yes, we dropped the ball on preseason, but that's neither here nor there now. Preseason is over. We're into the season. We're headed into week 2. So we can't. I mean, I'm not going to continue to beat that. I can't. We just have to move forward and see what we'll do in the next week. I think that the leadership on this team understands the assignment, and I think they understand that they have to come out and they have to be resilient. You have to understand what's at stake going into Philly, like you said, Banks. These guys are all professionals. They understand that, yes, this is going to be a hostile environment. Yes, this is going to be a primetime game. And yes, Philly will be prepared. But as a professional, you have to be able to match that. And I think coming out that we're going to see them trying to do some things. Now, what I don't want to see is Banks. Before I pass it over to you, is an offensive coordinator that hears all the whispers about what he didn't do and then try to overcompensate for that. We've seen that in the past. We can go back to the days of Kyle Shanahan here when we said Roddy White didn't touch the ball one week and then the next week they threw the ball to him 6 times out the gate. I don't need to see you prove a point by putting Kurt under the center for the whole first half just for the sake of trying to silence the fans and the critics. What I need you to do is I need you to come up with a solid game plan against a stout defense to be able to kind of neutralize certain things that they're good at. But time to panic or have no fear. I'm on the have no fear side. This is not time to panic at this point after week 1. Yes, we are playing Philly in Philly. Yes, we do play the defending Super Bowl champions at home next week, but it still have no fear, in my opinion. Banks, pass it over to you. Time to panic or have no fear.
It's neither one for me. It's just concern. I'm very concerned. I can't help but to look ahead. Yes, we play Philadelphia Monday night, but that game looming after that, and the game after that, and the game after that, and I'm like, I keep thinking, where is this wins coming from? You know, there's a stat out there, and I know people don't like stats, but teams that start 0-3 or worse tend not to make the playoffs, y'all. Not even a wild card. So I'm looking to the point where it's like, well, maybe I need to just stick to what's in front of me and worry about Philadelphia and worry about Kansas City, New Orleans, and Tampa when it gets here. But I mean, I just can't help to know that you almost in a must-win situation. And I say that because you are a team that is not. I'm not going to say ready to make that step, but you haven't proven that you are a team that can, just rattle off 3, 4, 5 wins in a row at will. You
Well, I
just
mean,
don't
it's
do
still
that.
it's still week 1. So
I
I get what you're
understand that. I
saying,
understand
and
that.
it sounds to me like you said, concern sounds a little bit leaning toward most of panic because listening to you talk, and I just want you to just clarify this. To me, it sounds like that from what you saw the eye test week 1, it just seems like, in my opinion, that you don't have a lot of you just don't have a lot of faith after seeing what you saw after week 1. And
Well,
then
I will
looking
say
past, hold on,
this.
let me, one second. Looking past the Eagles, it's like you're already counting L's and not counting, what we could do. It's like, okay, hey, we got the Eagles, we got the Chiefs, we got the Saints, we got the Bucks. You know, I just, I just want you to clarify like where you are. I know you said you're concerned, but I mean, after week 1, are we really saying that this team can't, get this together and turn this around with the eye test
No,
of what you saw? And
no.
I know
Well,
that you are very upset about the preseason, but I just want some clarification as to as to what you truly see when you look at this team.
okay. Well, then let's just say fear. Yes, it is fear because I don't believe this team is going to cut it on after 7 days. No, you're not. You don't have the coordinator to do it. The offensive coordinator, you said it yourself. He's been fumbling, bumbling because he's a first-time coach. Yes, he has to prove he has to do better. He has to do better. Like it's not let's see what he can do now. No, he has to do better. There's no if, ands, buts about it. He have to. Okay. You're going to in Philadelphia and you got to win that game. I'm sorry. You cannot go in there and be like, okay, well, we made it close, but at the same time, you're still 0-2. So I mean, I think at this point you got to. I mean, you have to really think crucial. Like if you don't, then what? Okay, I don't want to hear no where we gave our best foot forward. Not when before the season started. What the goal was. The goal was everyone kept saying win this division, and that's what I want. Nothing less. If they don't win a division,
Yeah, I think he just muted himself. Yeah, I think he
you
just
spent
muted himself.
$180 million on a quarterback to win a division, and if you don't do that, it's a failure. I don't want to hear no excuses after that. I told my stance back when we first did this with Kirk Cousins, how I felt about it. What you should have done instead, but then I was like, I'm being the bad guy. So no, if this is the plan, this is what we're supposed to do. We want to win the division. Damn it, that's what I want to do. So if we're gonna keep half stepping and pussyfooting around and doing this, well, he's still learning. He's still rusty. I don't want to hear none of that. I do not want to hear it. Go out there and win the division by hook or by crook. I do not
That,
want to know no more victories. That's not going to win the division.
listen, there's
So
still plenty of time, Banks, to win the
I
division.
get it. I get it, Leo. I know it's plenty of time. I get that. As of today, this is something else that I just did some researching on. This is something that's very, very interesting. For the past 3 years, back in 2022, I believe, Kirk Cousins, for 3 years in a row, he has played the Philadelphia Eagles in week 2 on Monday Night Football in Philadelphia. That blew my mind. All 3 games, well, no, excuse me, all 2 games. This is his third one. The previous 2 games he's lost. In the previous 2 games, he looked terrible. So that's when he was healthy. Okay. Now he's not healthy, in my opinion. He's more of a healthy, but I'm not sure of myself kind of guy. And that's not good enough. If you play Philadelphia Eagles for the third year in a row on Monday Night Football on week 2 on their home opener, I don't know how the schedule makers how they just figure that out, but okay, we'll rock with it. But yeah, this is his third year in a row, and he's not healthy like he was previous 2 years, and he didn't look that great those previous 2 years. So take what you will with that. Hopefully, David third time's a charm. Maybe he will be a winner, and on a gimpy leg.
I
That go
mean,
figure with that.
listen, man. I mean, I think the eye test for me personally, week 1 wasn't enough for me to make a judgment as to what I'm gonna see week 2. We know the NFL. Listen, we know the NFL is a week to week league. Let's make no mistakes or qualms about it. Okay, and I'm not. I'm yes, I'm trying to be a glass half full type of guy at this point because, like I said, it just was not enough for me to see after week 1 to know what we're going to see week 2. Banks, yes. Is it magically going to have 7 days? Are we magically going to get just world beater? I don't know. But what I do know is I think that we'll see a different team that we saw against the Steelers, and I do think hopefully we'll see uh more out of the offense. I think we'll see an emphasis on trying to do what we do good strength wise, running the football. I think there are some opportunities to do some things against the Eagles. And I think that the defense hopefully can step up and be able to keep us in this game. I know, in my opinion, I've been watching the Eagles here and Jalen Hurts. Let's be real. He has at times turned the ball over, and hopefully that will work in our favor. We need some turnovers. Obviously, like I said, going back to week 1, the Steelers played not to lose. They didn't turn the ball over. We lost a turnover battle, -2. Those are some of the things that we have to look at and work at. And like you said, hang our hat on the defense to see exactly, if we if the defense gives us a chance, hey, to maybe to get some short field opportunities to do some different things. Because like I said, you just don't know. We got to lace them up and we got to play. We got to go out on the field to see what the outcome is going to be. That's at the end of the day. That's all that matters is when they kick it off on Monday night and lace them up. We'll see how that ends up. But I'm on the side. I have no fear. It's week 1. We're going into week 2. There's still plenty of football left. There's still plenty of time to win the division. So we'll come back and we'll talk about this and see where they are after the Eagles game going into week 3 against Kansas City, which I'm very excited for because that's going to be our first home primetime game. And God, it seems like almost a decade, but I'm going to have fun and we're going to see how this works coming after week 2. So listen, Banks, before we wrap this thing up, man, I thought it would be cool to kind of do some hot takes and talk about a couple of different topics that have just come up here. And I feel like they were very pertinent and I wanted to get your opinion and I wanted to get my opinion on them as well. You cool to do that?
Run it, run it.
All right, so listen. First thing you want to talk about here is a couple of things, in no particular order. Banks, I know you got your outline and everything, but no particular order. The first thing I want to talk about here is fantasy football week 1. How did you do fantasy football week 1?
Winner, chicken dinner. Yes, sir. Winner, week 1. Want to know, baby. But
Okay.
my quarterback went down, so I'm not looking too good week 2. But we'll see. we'll see. Like I said, I'm very so far so good. Uh, hopefully I gotta find a new quarterback, but I'll get out this rut.
I mean, listen, we won. You know, I thought I had this thing in the bag. I don't know who I was playing, but I thought I had this thing in the bag going into Monday night. I really did, and I'm gonna have to talk to the commissioner about the scoring because I might need to file a petition or something because I'm looking at week one. I'm good by a good 7-8 points. I'm like, okay, cool. I should be fine. It's he got one player left for Monday night, and it's the kicker for San Francisco. And lo and behold, the kicker got this man like 17 points. I'm like, what? I said, I would see, hold up now, if this was Pittsburgh's kicker, I would say, okay, well, yeah, I understand. But this man got this 17. I said, man, I lost to a kicker. I literally lost to a kicker. The Falcons did too, and my fantasy team lost to a kicker. So man, I said week one fantasy was horrible. All of my players, by the way, came out unscathed. So we're going into week two looking pretty good, hopefully here. It looks like it's a 50-50 matchup going into week two, but hey, it is what it is on that fantasy football tip, man. But you pulled out a win. I can't wait till we match up here coming up in the season. So that's pretty cool, man, on the fantasy football tip. Second thing I want to get to here is but first before I do this, and I actually put this on, but shout out to Atlanta United. Atlanta United tonight, they face Nashville SC. Nashville SC comes in tonight, and there's something pretty cool about tonight, and that is that we are playing. I don't know if you remember, Banks, but we have this whole thing with the Southern Championship with the Southern teams here with Nashville, Charlotte, I want to say DC, and I can't remember my fourth team. What was my fourth team, Banks? I don't know. Well, anyway, I just lost. I drew a blank. So anyway, this is part of the whole, record that we have going on with the Southern Championship belt between all of those teams. So we play Nashville SC tonight, Mercedes-Benz at 7:30. So that should be cool. Atlanta United still fighting for their playoff life over there. We'll see how that all works out. But a couple more topics here. Banks Tua Tagovailoa on Thursday night, man, took another concussion, man. I think this is his third of his professional career. It did not look very good. Thoughts and prayers with him. Obviously, man, this young man has, endured a lot, man, to get where he is. Just signed a big contract, man. One of the young premier quarterbacks, I want to say, that was doing well. And this happened to him again. Man, my heart just goes out to him, man, because I know how hard it is to get to where he has gotten. And for this to happen, like, there has to be some serious consideration with him and his camp about is this going to be something that he's going to continue to do? Because I just don't want to get to a point where we see somebody on the field. I mean, as scary as it was, and as ironic as it was, this play happened between him and another gentleman that actually had a near-death experience with Damar Hamlin. Right, we know how scary that was watching Damar Hamlin go down in that situation. Shout out to him for coming back and doing what he does. But I don't know if I can stomach seeing a situation, man, where Tua comes back and it could be worse because it could be. But like I said, my heart just goes out to him, man, and his situation. I know how hard he's worked to be in the league, but we've talked about the evolution of football, Banks, off air and off, and just the seriousness of it and the sport in general. The NFL has tried to make this safe, but in this situation with Tua, man, I just don't know if it's gonna be just safe for him to continue to do this. Banks, what is your opinion on that situation with him, man?
Well, we all know the sport that we love. This is a violent, violent game. It's it's one of them things where you look at it as entertainment purposes, and then when we have something that kind of like humbles you, it brings everything back in perspective. To know that, yeah, at the end of the day, it's just entertainment, and these guys are putting their bodies and their minds literally on the line, just for entertainment purposes. Although it is their job as well, this is what they make a living for. It's just one of them things. You look back on it and it's like, you kind of be like you're happy that he's okay, but at the same time, it's like this it's not gonna stop it. at Tua. You know, somebody else is about to go through this. Somebody in high school is going through this. Somebody in college is going to go through this. You know, this is it's not just an NFL thing. You know, this is like I said, it's a violent game. You know, um,
Yeah,
nothing but prayers for the man. As you know, if you can tell from my last segment that he was my fantasy QB1. So obviously he will not be there. Um, I don't know for how long, but you know, my thoughts and prayers for the man. You know, I feel bad for him as well, Leo. I don't know what he is thinking right now. You know, as he was walking back to that locker room, it's like, here I am yet again. You know, I'm on a
yeah,
crossroad of if this is my destiny or am I about to hang it up forever? Like, is this my last time walking off this field? You know,
yeah, yeah.
that's something to real deep to think about. You know, and
It
that's
is.
man.
It is, man. And like I said, dude, it's just something to think about. Like you said, not just the NFL, of course, is at the highest level, so we see it more factor in there. But yes, this is something going all the way down to the Pee Wee level, all the way through. I mean, we made changes in trying to make the game safe, and I think I will, for the most part, give just a small bit of credit to the NFL for trying to come up with ways to make the game safe. I mean, there are some things that they could probably still do better, obviously. This is not the game, obviously, that we watched growing up, Banks. I mean, they have taken a lot of things out that, we're not, the 80s and 90s watching football then was crazy. We don't see that as much as we did the collisions and the hits. So they have done some changes to make things safer, but this is still scary nonetheless. And like I said, our thoughts and prayers go out to this man, and hopefully, something positive will come about. We pray something positive comes about with this situation, and we'll see how that goes. We'll keep an eye on it. So one more thing here. I know I had a couple other things to talk about here, but we need to wrap this up, Banks. One more thing I want to talk about. College football week 3 is coming up. I know we had a couple of good games here. The first couple of weeks here, some teams are starting to establish themselves as okay. We here. Let's go. Let's run this. Two notable games tonight. Like I said, UGA versus uh the University of Kentucky Wildcats. Shout out to my boy Big Rob, big Kentucky guy. And then also Bama, I think, travels up to Camp Randall and takes on Wisconsin today. So those are the two notable games that I looked up here for week 3. Banks, you ready for week 3, man? How do you feel about this UGA Kentucky game and Bama versus Wisconsin up there at Camp Randall?
Well, go dogs. You know, SEC matchup against Kentucky Wildcats. You know, Kentucky coming off that big loss to South Carolina last week. I'm sure they're gonna want some get back. But I'm
Get
sure
back
the
with who?
balls.
With
But
who?
let me finish. I
Go,
think they
go.
want some get back of redemption of trying to let everyone the pundits know that they're not that bad. I think they had a going into the season they had high hopes for Kentucky, but as you can see, South Carolina just came out of nowhere and just like took their lunch money. I think Kirby's going to have them ready. I don't think we're taking any team for granted. That's not his style. That's not his nature. I think we're gonna come out here. We're gonna do our thing. As for Alabama and Wisconsin, I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. Wisconsin, thanks for playing. At least you can still jump around in third quarter. So that's all y'all gonna be doing is jumping around because I don't think you guys beating Alabama. Um, yeah, yeah. So
All right. All right. Like I said, I had to check it because I'm like, man, listen, I think that, like you said, Kirby does not. They don't take anybody lightly. They'll be ready to go in there into Lexington and do what they need to do. Alabama, yeah, man, got them in a couple of weeks. We'll see what they do against Wisconsin. That's gonna be interesting though. I don't see them just. I don't see an annihilation, but we'll see. I don't know. This is not a Nick Saban coach team, so I have no idea what we're going to get from week to week out of Alabama. I do know what we're going to get week to week with Georgia with this expanded playoffs now. This is going to be very, very interesting because you're going to have a couple of games here um, down the stretch that are really going to kind of jockey people and put people in positions to we can see how that playoff will start to shape up here early in October here. We'll probably see how this thing starts to shape up. So that'll be pretty cool as well. So listen, man, before we close this thing out, I want to go back to our partnerships, man, and just give them a shout out again. Banks Beds, BEC moisturizer and conditioner beard spray, man. Definitely give him a shout if you're trying to get some product, man. 470-222-9927. 470-222-9927. Hit him up. Let him know that you listen to the ATL 3 Style live podcast, man, and he'll definitely look out for you, man. Just, tell him Leo G and Banks and Derek Cole sent you over there, man, and he'll hook you up and get you some product out to you so you can definitely get your beard looking good. I see Banks, you got your beard trying to come back through, man. Once you get that all taken care of, man, we'll get you some product, man. You can try it out and see what's up. Also, can't forget about our man over there, Phil, man, at Eastland's Woodworking Company, man, for all your woodworking needs. Shout out to him. He was also at the Foul Corners tailgate on this past Sunday. He had a couple of items. I think he gave, Derek Cole a birthday item that, he pretty much enjoyed, man. But yeah, hit him up, man. Look at his catalog work over there on Etsy. Hit the QRC code. Hit the QRC code right now. Eastland's Woodworking, man. Shout out our boy Phil. Also mention to him that you heard about him through the ATL 3 Style podcast as well, man. So shout out our partnerships with BZ and Eastland Woodworking Company. Banks, man, it's always, man, it's been fun. Let everybody know where they can find you.
You can still find me at Antoine Jarrell Banks on Facebook, or you can find me at Baby Banks 80 on Instagram. Hit me up on there, guys. Again, I say this every week. I'm not understanding what's going on with X or Twitter or whatever they call themselves, but I'm not feeling them. But there's other ways you can hit me up. Messenger, any other way. Holler at me, smoke screen, Telegram, whatever you want to do. I'll be here. Hit me up.
Hey, that's what's up, man. Hey, shout out to our boy Reggie, man. Listen, yeah, shout out Morehouse versus Howard tonight. The house, yeah, man. Shout out to them HBCUs doing their thing, man. Morehouse versus Howard tonight. I'm not for sure what the location of that game is. I don't know. Maybe Reggie can throw that in the guy. I want to say they playing in New York or somewhere. I'm not for sure. But yeah, that's a big one. Morehouse versus Howard, man, tonight. As at them two premier HBCU schools, man. So definitely, shout out to Morehouse and Howard, man. Also, so listen, you can catch us. You can catch me on Twitter, like it's always been, man, at Southern Set. That's me. Also, you can catch Twitter X, whatever that is, Derico VSU96SDD. You can catch him. You can also catch us on our new handle, ATL 3 Style. That's over there on Twitter or whatever you want to call it. And like my man Reggie said, yes, they are playing in New York tonight. So I'm definitely going to tune in to check that out. Morehouse and Howard. Also, man, once again, very special shout out to our boy Derico. Happy birthday to him, man. Hope all is well
Happy
with
birthday,
him.
boy.
And hope he's enjoying it somewhere. Hope he will remember it. So, listen, man, hopefully he'll be back with us for the next edition. And we definitely have some good things to talk about, man. Definitely, hopefully on the next podcast, we'll have some good news when it comes to talking about all of our ATL teams and all our ATL sports and Georgia sports in general, man. So this has been another edition. This has been an addition, a new edition. What's up, man? Before we close, what's up?
Just shout out to Braves out there. I know we ain't been speaking about the Braves all for a long time. You guys are still hanging up in there. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. You guys still in the fight. You talking about United fighting for their lives. Braves are fighting for their lives, bro.
Yeah, man. So, big win. Huge win
doing
against the Dodgers last night with them, man. So absolutely, yeah. Shout out to the Braves, man. And we'll come back on the next episode and hopefully have some positive things to talk about them as well. Thank you, Banks, for reminding us about them Braves fighting for their playoff life, man. This has been another edition of the ATL 3 Style live podcast.